The North Cove. When I first came to the North Cove in the late 1950s and early 60s, it was far different, a much more modest layout than what most people remember it to be in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Back then, it was almost hidden. You couldn't find it. There was a parking lot off Westervelt Street, and you'd walk over the pipeline, which used to be the Morris Canal bed, to a very small layout. There was two piers, a large pier with some benches on it, and a smaller pier on the other side of the lake, which had a diving board on it. And connected to the large pier was a rope that ran across the small beach, and there was shallow water there for kids. And the rest of the lake was designed and roped off in a triangle with ropes with floats on them going out to the diving board. And the third part of the triangle was a raft that was anchored out in the middle of the lake. And that was it. There wasn't a lot of other things. There were a couple of sheds that were made out of corrugated aluminum with some wooden benches in them. There was a place for grilling. There was no electricity there. And I'll tell you this, if you went there at night, just as soon as the sun set, about 8 bazillion mosquitoes would come out and attack you. I mean, this was Mrs. Hammond's little queendom. Her and Emil Karsh oversaw it, and they kept it going for quite some time. Just as a small place where some people could gather, they paid a small fee each year, an annual membership fee, and they came in and swam and had little picnics and things like that. The township took it over in the middle of the 60s and expanded it to the point where it now looks like it does today, even though there is no more swimming taking place. So that was the North Cove. It changed, but there was a memory there as the end of summer was coming around, and I'm a mouthy little kid, a middle school type. I was probably going into the 7th grade, and it's Labor Day. This is the last day for swimming at the North Cove, and I decided that I was going to go over there. We went down there late in the day, me and my friend across the street down there, and the place was crowded. Lots of people there celebrating the last of the summer. And I'm down there in the water, and I start yelling at my friend up on the pier. And I yelled something like, "Hey, fatso, get off the pier," or something like that. Now, I don't know why I said that, because the friend of mine wasn't fat. I was just trying to be mouthy. And all of a sudden, this guy's up on that pier, and he's yelling, and he's saying, "You come up here and say that, and I'm going to kick your butt." Although he might have not said butt. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I come off the water, and then my father starts yelling at me. He's there. "What are you doing yelling at people like that? You yelled at that guy's wife." Well, I didn't even see his wife, but I started a big deal. My father's there telling me, "You're getting yourself in all kinds of trouble. You got to learn to keep your mouth shut." And that was my memory, way back there in the late 50s at the old North Cove, leaving, and after that, 3 quiet days before school would reopen. Back then, Wayne Township schools always opened on the Thursday after Labor Day. Some thoughts.